Hi guys, this is Aslam Khan here today to teach you bank reconciliation account part 2 video, and you are watching Commerce with Mac YouTube channel. I have uploaded almost all the chapters under 9th chapter in grade 10 syllabus. You can watch from chapter 1 to chapter 9 under the playlist called grade 10 and 11 for O levels. So I want you guys to say these videos are there. It's free of cost to your friends so they can also learn with me, and it's completely free guys. If you have any doubts, please do not forget to comment on the comment section. Today I'm going to teach you the things which I have stopped earlier, from the point where I have stopped earlier. So I'm going to start from that particular point, and I'm going to finish a certain set of papers, and I'll try to do my maximum from this today's video. And please do not forget to subscribe my channel to learn with me more in future. Then we'll start now guys without wasting your time. So then we have activity 1. The following balances were in the books of Sahan Abhay Nayakar's business as at 1st 6 2000, and they have given certain balances. Last video I taught you how to record a bank account, and it was like 2 column bank account. So I taught you, I took the discount received, 3 column bank account with the discount received and discount allowed. And here in this sum, find discount allowed and discount received. So I'm not going to take discount allowed and discount received because they are not given here. So I'm going to stick into this sum. And this activity I'm doing because most of the students are requesting me to do the activities in previous videos, because I do certain videos and I don't do activity because I feel that that is not that important. Actually, I feel this activity is very important. That's the reason I'm starting with the activity number 1. And most of you guys are struggling to score in your exams. And if you guys are following schools who are given a homework on doing activity 1, let me teach you the easiest way to score better on your paper. So let's start, guys. The first one they are given under Sahan Abhay Nayakar's business asset. They have given some balances. Cash, they have given a balance of cash 90,000, then debtors 60,000, capital 70,000, creditors 80,000. The following transactions were taken place during the month of June 2000. Opening a bank current account by depositing rupees 25,000, bought goods for resale by issuing a check number 40 amounting to rupees 20,000. 10/6 deposited the following checks. Check number 68, Checks number 68 of rupees 12,000 received from a debtor. Check number 75 of 18,000 received from the cash sales of goods. Check number 66 of rupees 18,000 received from a debtor. Rupees 10,000 of cash was deposited in the current account. A check received, check number 68 from a debtor had been deposited in the bank, was dishonored by the bank. Issuing of the following checks: check number 41 rupees 8,000 for rent, check number 42 rupees 15,000 to the creditors. Check issued for payment for rent has been dishonored rupees 8,000. A new check bearing rent number 43 for rupees 8,000 was issued instead of the dishonored check. The check bearing the number 105 was received from cash sales, was deposited at the same time of value rupees 17,000. Now here I can either take the cash book and compile with the bank account and do it, or I can either take a cash different ledger account and start doing cash account differently and bank account differently. So here I'm going to teach you a bank account completely different, cash account completely different. So if you guys have done in schools cash account and bank account together, it's completely correct. But I'm not going to go in that particular point because I want you guys to teach the importance of bank reconciliation. When I'm doing the bank reconciliation alone with the bank account and the bank statement, you should know the difference between bank account and the cash books. That's the reason I'm always teaching in my technique. It's better to learn bank account alone, cash account alone, so we will not lose marks in your paper. With that knowledge, we'll see what is the requirement. Prepare the bank account for the month ended 30th 6 2000 and balance it. Post the entries to the other ledger accounts and balance them. So we'll do one by one. Let me start with the balance. They are given the following balances were in the books of Sahan Abhay Nayakar's business asset. Cash 90,000. So I'm going to record, take a pen and pencil and start writing in your textbook. If you haven't watched my other videos, please go now and start watching those things because that will help you a lot to score these areas. You can see my chapter 8, chapter 7, chapter 6, chapter 5, chapter 4, chapter 3, chapter 2, and chapter 1. I have taught you everything what you really wanted for your exams to score better on your papers. Then we'll start the first one. I'm going to start with the cash account. Always remember to put the account names when you start a ledger account. Then we move on to the area. Debtors 60,000. So I'm going to write debtors one by one, guys. So don't hurry. Debtors account. So now I'm going to record cash account is a debit account. You all know it's an asset. So asset account means you should be recording cash account 90,000 on the debit side. I'll write here brought forward BF or brought down BD, both are correct. So 90,000. I need to have some space to write the dates. So I'm going to keep the dates, yeah, some space to write the dates. Let me see the dates first of all. What is the date? Actually 1/6/2000 something they have taken. So let me take 1/6 for my preference easiness and for your time saving time. So because I don't want to write the dates and waste my time, but in your exam you need to write the dates, guys. Don't say like Aslam sir or Commerce with Mac has said that saving time is always good for you on your exam papers. Let's see debtors balances now. Data is 60,000, so I'm going to record data is also an asset. So data is 60,000. Again, I'll start with the date 1/6, brought forward 60,000. Then we'll move on to the next part. What do we have to record? We have capital 70,000, so I'm going to record capital. Capital is a equity account. So capital also known as equity. It's an investment made by the owner. So I'm going to start, normally investment will always start with credit side. Again with the date, I will start first 6th, brought forward, how much? We got 70,000. Yes. So 3 accounts are recorded. Then we move on to the 4th account, record. It says that creditors 80,000. So I'm going to record creditors is a liability. Liability account always start in the credit side. So creditors account, creditors. What am I writing, guys? Creditors account first 6th, brought forward. How much? You guys already know how to record this. These are basic simple things. If you have learned from me from the beginning with me all the videos, recording these ledger accounts are going to be very easy for you guys. Anyway, so creditors is 80,000. I recorded here wrong. So 80,000. We do mistakes. If I have done any mistakes, guys, please inform me so I can correct myself. I'm trying to give my best. I'm trying to teach it in a very easier manner. I don't want to make accounting as complicated. Accounting is the easiest thing you will ever see. So I'm opening up an account called a bank account. Now you might see there's a thing called ledger folio here. You might ask why this ledger folio is always there. Normally this ledger folio is used when cash account and bank account is in one account. Actually, when you are doing cash and bank at one particular place, we use this ledger folio. When I'm doing some, actually I will be explaining why this ledger folio, what's the importance. Actually everything will be explained in a greater manner. Might be don't take this much of gap because already I'm doing here I have taken this ledger account. So when I adjust this ledger folio size amount, that the ledger accounts also will be adjusted. So for ledger account, ledger folio, leaving a small space in your paper is more than enough, guys, to score better. So let's start with the first adjustment. I'm ready to start. I hope you are also ready to start now. We have the following transactions were taken place during the month of June 2006. Opening a bank current account by depositing 25,000. So when you deposit money, your cash account is decreasing, your bank account is increasing. So my cash account is decreasing. Cash account is an asset account. When money goes out of the account, it will become a credit. So I'll write here the date 5th, 6th. I'm going and putting this money in bank. Now here in bank account, I will record it as the date. Date is 5th, 6th, and I will record it as cash. Okay. Yeah, 5th. 6th. So 6th June, 5th June. So I'm recording here cash. Don't write account, and I'll write the amount. How much is the amount? 25,000. Now, for your knowledge, I want you to remind you. Now, this is the here you can put rupees, and here also it's better if you can put rupees. Then the examiner knows that examiner knows everything, but examiner will be having an ideology that you know better when you're doing bank reconciliation statements. Now here, still I didn't start bank reconciliation. I'm just teaching you how to record bank accounts details. Now here we have recorded the first adjustment. Now you might ask why is ledger folio is still there when you guys have this cash account under bank account. When you guys have this two type of account, normally cash account would have been credit inside this account itself, and here it will become debit in the bank account itself, saying cash. That's the reason we will use ledger folio, and whenever you use the ledger folio, we'll put a C and a contra entry to show that both accounts has happened within the particular account. In future videos, I'll try to explain you how contra entries work, or when I do past papers, you might see how contra entries work. I might, when I see some past papers to upload in future, I'll be using contra entries. For now, don't put this into your mind. Just ignore ledger folio as much as possible so you can be able to learn a lot with me. Then we move on to the next part of the sum. Recorded the first adjustment. Bought goods for resale by issuing a check number amounting to rupees 20,000. So bought goods for resale means you are purchasing goods for 20,000. So how much is the amount you are purchasing 20,000. So goods account, now it's purchased from check. If I'm not mistaken, it's purchased from check, right? Check number 40. Better to write the check number always, and also write the purpose why you are taking that and the dates. So I'll write purchases, and the check number was number 40. So I'll write just 40, more than enough for me to remember. And also I'll write the amount 20,000. So credit the bank account because the money is going out of the business. Bank is an asset account. So when it decreases, it should be on the credit side. And also the date is 8/6. So I'll write here 8/6, right? But that it is not complete the entries are. So I need to record this under purchase account because I have recorded here correctly. I should open up a purchase account. So as I have no space up because I have already started with the balances, I will draw an account down. Let me copy an account from here so I can replace it with another name. So I'll write here purchase account. And here in bank account, it's credit, means in purchase account, it should be debit. So it should be 20,000. I'm going to write here purchases, what's the name? Bank. So remember to write the date, first of all, 8/6 bank. So done and dusted, the second adjustment. Then we move on to third adjustment. We have deposited the following checks. So these are 3 deposits they are given. So I need to deposit properly. 68, 75, 66. So 12,000 received from a debtor. So I'm going to see the date first, 10/6, 12,000. So 10/6. So I'm receiving a check actually. So 10/6. First of all, I'll put the date properly. Okay. 10/6. I'm getting some money from debtor. The check number is 68, and I'll record that also. 68, better. 68. And then I know the amount, it's 12,000. So I'll write 12,000. Now after recording this 12,000, I'm not yet done. Now this is on the debit side of the bank account. So I should record it on the credit side of the debtor's account because double entry says one side is debit, other side should be credit. It's easy. So debtor is an asset account. Asset account decrease, it should be credit. I'll write the 12,000 first of all. Then I'll write the date first. Then 8/6, and I'll write bank. Right. So they have deposited 12,000. Then we move on to the next adjustment, same adjustment, but the next number 75, 18,000 received from the cash sale of goods. Now you can record in these 2 ways when you get a check on cash sale of goods. Do I record it in cash account or do I record it on the bank account? This is the doubt many students have. I remind you guys, when you have a cash check, okay, record it on a bank account rather than taking it to cash account and then transferring it to the bank account. It takes a lot of procedures and 4 double entries you need to go ahead. So it's better you take it on a sale account as well as bank account. So I'm going to move on to the point. So number 75, you are receiving a check, right, on sales. So the same date, and I'm writing sales and 75. Open up a different account. What is the amount we got? 18,000. It's a deposit. It's a debit side. So I'll open up a sales account. Sales account is an income account. Yeah. So I'm gonna paste here and name it as sales account. I'm gonna write here sales account is how much? Well, sorry, 18,000. So after recording 18,000, I'm not yet done. I need to put the date and the reason. 10th, 6th, and I will say bank. So I never said cash. I just directly said bank. You can also do like this. Either you can put cash here and transfer this amount to cash account. After that, you should credit the cash account and transfer that amount to bank account. That's also still practical. Some school teachers do that, and it's still practical. It's correct. So don't always listen to your school teachers. They might teach you in a better way. But I try to give from my knowledge. Their way of explanation, my way of explanation might be very different. So don't get complicated. Why Aslamza is not teaching in the way school teachers? They are doing a great job. So appreciate them. They are doing a great job. I've been a school teacher in many schools. I have lectured many schools. So I'm saying from my experience, value them. They are the ones who are teaching, who are doing a lot of work even after the school work. They should be appreciated. That's the reason I'm being a teacher. I'm teaching you. Anyway, so we move on to, so don't compare myself with others. That's something very not good. Or if you compare, also no problem. But still, see always the pro from people. They might have some good knowledge. which you might not notice. Then we move on next part. Then we have check number 66 of rupees 18,000 received from a debtor. Again another check, but this check number 66 we are receiving from a debtor. So I'm going to write the date, the same date. So I'm going to write check number 66, but it's a debtor. So I'll write debtor 66. I got 18,000. Let me check, is it 12,000 or 18,000? I got 18,000. Yeah. So 18,000 I'm going to record here on the debit side because I'm receiving a check, and I'll write data 66 here. The date 10th 6th. I put the wrong date. It should be 10th and 6th. Yeah. Better you put the check number, and this is 68 actually, and the other one is 66, right? So I got 18,000. So deposits are done, almost done, everything is done, easy. Then we move on to the next part of the sum. Yeah, so it says that 15,600 rupees 10,000 of cash was deposited in the current account. So the cash is getting decreased and your bank account is increasing, so you need to again a ledger folio adjustment, but we are not taking under one account, so I need to show it differently. 10,000, the date is 15/6, and I'm going to put it on the bank, so cash account is decreasing and bank account is on the debit side because it's an asset increases should be represented on the debit side. So I'll write here debit, and I'll write here cash. So easy. So once I record cash account, I'll write the amount. 10,000 is the amount they have deposited in the bank from the cash account. Now move on to the next adjustment of the sum. It says that a check received, check number 68 from a debtor and had been deposited in the bank, was dishonored by the bank. What does this dishonored means? Dishonored means the money, the amount they have deposited has not been actually there in the debtor's account. So whenever you are taking the check, the money, when you pass on the check, there's no money in the debtor's account. So you need to do the same thing what you did in an opposite way. Normally when a debtor pays, debtor's account decreases, bank account increases. Opposite way, bank account decreases, debtor's account increases. Easy as that. So I'll move on to the point I want to discuss. It says that I need to go on the opposite way. Now you see debtor's account had debited, so I'll credit it, guys, because there's no money in his account. So I'll credit my bank account and actually receive this. I'll put the date properly, 16 6 of 16/6. I'll write debtor, and what's the number? Debtor amount is 68 and the value is 12,000. So now I have recorded this on the credit side, which means I should record this on the dishonored check on the debit side of the debtor's account. So I'll record 12,000 and I'll write the date first of all, 16/6, and it's bank. What's the check number which was returned? 68. You can even say dishonored check and put the date. It's also correct here, but still it's better you can put bank 68. So then we are done with that particular adjustment. We have done the correct exact thing. Then we move on next adjustment of the sum. It says that issuing of following checks. Now you are issuing some checks. Check number 41 rupees 8,000 for it, and check number 42 15,000 to the creditors. So I need to open up two accounts for creditors. Maybe I had a creditors account, but I need to open up a rent account, I think. So 8,000 I'm paying for rent. So I'll write rent. I need to know the check number. It was 40 if I'm not mistaken, and the date. So rent 43, right? 41 and 42, 15,000. So here creditors, I'll write creditors 42. I'm not yet done with the sum, so I need to write the dates first of all, 8,000 and 15,000. Now I have double into the record. First of all, write the dates first of all. And of course, it's easy for me to do the next adjustment. 20th 6th. So I'll write here 20th 6th, right? And here also I'll write 20th 6th. So now here I'll need to open up an account called rent account because I have credited the bank account. I should debit the rent account because rent account is an expense account. Come down and I'll record this. Record here rent account. Here I'll record it as in this way. So rent account is how much? 8,000. Write the date. What's the date? I forget the date. I'm always forgetting things. So no worries. 20th 6th. So then 26 8,000. So 620 also. 26th, and 8,000. Now there was a check number. It's better you need to write the check number. It's better. So 41 was there. Now then I have creditors to record. Creditors account, bank account is credit. Creditors account should become debit. So I'll move on to creditors account. It was up, which we recorded the first time. So it's 15,000. It's debit side because credit side on the bank account, credit side on the debit side on the creditors accounts. 15,000. You will write the date 26th and say bank and the check number without forgetting 42. Then after recording this, I'm going to move on to the next adjustment. It says that a new check bearing, a check issued for payment rent has been dishonored for rupees 8,000. So the money that you have actually received is not, the money actually you have issued is not being issued. The reason you don't have money in your account sometimes, then of course the check will get dishonored. So you need to do the same thing vice versa. So rent account was debited, then you issued the check, and bank account was credited. Now you should go vice versa. So bank account will become debit and rent account will become credit. So I'll move on to the sum again. I'm going to record it. So it was dishonored check, actually check number 42. So here it was 42 debit, you might credit. So I will write, 41. I'll write here rent 41. It's going to be the vice versa. I'm going to check the date. It should be 24th if I'm not mistaken. 24th of 6th. Right. So here I'm writing 8,000. Sorry, not 80,000, 8,000. Then I'm moving on to the rent account, and I'm writing the same thing because it's now you have not actually paid the check bounced. The check doesn't have a value. 24/6. You need to do the vice versa. 41. So adjustment number 24. Date number 24 is also recorded. Easy as that. So we have recorded the basics of activity 1. 28/6. A new check bearing. Yeah, a new check bearing rent number 43 for rupees 8,000 was issued instead of the dishonored check. So they didn't issue a new check on the dishonored, but they issued a new check number 43. So I'm gonna take 43 check number was issued for rent, the same 8,000. So I'm gonna write 28 June, right? I have rent, I have paid again. It's 43 now, the check number, and I'm gonna write here the same 8,000. So here a bank account credit. I'm gonna move on to my rent account and write the 24th, 6th, and write bank 40. Right guys, so I'm going to write here the 8,000. So record it easy. Then we move on to the next part of the sum. The check bearing number 105 was received from cash sales, was deposited at the same time of value 17,000. So though it was a cash sale, again they didn't take it in the cash book, but they took it into the bank account as sudden as possible. So you can take it into the cash book and transfer to the bank account, or either you can take it to the bank account directly because it's a check. I will take it to the bank account, so it saves a lot of time for me actually. So I'll take 17,000 to the bank account first of all, and say it as a cash sale, or I can write saying sales. But I need to know the check's number. Check number was 105 if I'm not mistaken. And the date was, let me check the date. 105. What's the date actually? Actually, it was 27/6, and there's a date. Actually, there's a problem on date here. You see the date 27. I'm not making any pointing out the mistake. Should be 29, but your school book has stated 27, so we'll go with the same date. So 27/6. No problem. No problem with the dates confusion. Okay, it doesn't matter. So then we have 17,000. So I'm going to record it on the same sales account rather than opening our due account. I'll write 17,000 on the credit side saying, what's the date? Here, there's a check number. I have forgot to write bank. It's 75 if I'm not mistaken. That was sales 75. Right? Let me check it. Yeah, sales 75, sales 105. So I'm going to write the date here 27/6 and 70, 105. So now I recorded everything. I hope you guys how to record, now we have recorded all things in the ledger account. I hope you guys know how to record, how to balance the ledger accounts. I'll do one balancing and show off. Now if you see here guys, I taught you this in chapter 8, chapter 7 so much at times, but for your knowledge, when you're balancing the sum guys, take 2 layers of the size of the amount and see which side is better. Bigger in this normally in cash account, debit side is always bigger, so 90,000 is the value. You should take both sides So we'll write 90,000 here and 90,000 on the credit side. And difference you see 25 plus 10 is 35,000. So we'll write 35,000 minus 90,000 is 65,000. So that is the balance you will show as carried down. So it should be showed on the date of like 30th June, because that's how you should carry it down, carry it forward. If you take BFs, take CF. If you take BD, say take CD. So now I'm going to balance the bank account first of all. It's the same way which we did all this time. I need to have one more line to make it perfect. So I will add one row for this. Yeah. Then I'm going to balance this off. This one, this balance. Yes, this side and side. Now I need to take the total of the debit side. You see the total. Total, I'm getting 108,000. You might see my cursor here. So it says 108,000. So I'm going to write here 108,000. And I'm not yet done. I'm going to take the same balance for the credit side, 108,000. Now I have carried down, I have a value on the credit side. So I'm taking the total, you see, 20, 12, 32, 40, 55, 63. So 63,000. So I should take 63,000 and deduct from 108. So 108 minus 63. So how do we take the value? 108 minus 63,000 will give me a value of 45,000. So I'll record here 45,000, and by the day, I need to write the date first of all, 30th June. I'll write it as carried down. Did I take BF or let me see? No BF, so I can take carried down or carried forward, no problem. I'll take CF. So 45,000. So this is the opening balance of the next month. If I show the next month's opening balances first, 7. We are going to take this balance on the last carried forward to the next month. So I will take it as 1st July. If I take it 1st July, it should be brought forward here. And the balance which I'm showing here carried forward is the balance which will come here on the debit side as brought. So I have showed you how this works actually. So I'm going to take a, I'm going to put a box for this borders, all borders. So now you see how this sum is actually made. It's so easy when you are actually practicing this. This will always give you good marks when you guys can know how to do this bank reconciliation. Now let's move on to the next page of the textbook. Bank overdraft. We're going to discuss today on this particular video. I'm going to move on to page number 120. Now let's do it fast. What is bank overdraft? Bank overdraft is very easy for you to understand. Bank overdraft is where the bank has allowed the customers to withdraw cash more than the credit limit of the, or more than the amount which the customer has in the bank. For example, if a customer has in a bank maybe 25,000 on his debit side, that's the money the customer is actually having. But sometimes the customer can withdraw cash more than the money he has in his bank account. If I take 25,000 as bank balance, for example, and I have, if I have given a check for more than like 50,000 worth of check. So if I give a check worth of 50,000, I might take money more than the amount in the bank account. So whenever I take money more than the bank account, it becomes the bank overdraft. Now here, if I withdraw the cash from the bank, I have put a check more than the amount in the bank balance. So now here, 25,000 will become bank overdraft. Why is that? So normally, whenever you are having a check, a current account, you will learn this in business studies. In current account, you can have a certain limit of range. If you don't have money in your account, you can take some money from the bank, and that some money is known as the bank overdraft, and that some money is also some sort of limited. You can't take more than excess. Some banks give for their current account holders 100,000. Some banks give them 500,000 based on the customer's dealing. If you are dealing in lakhs and if you are so much trustable person, they might even give 1 million. So bank overdraft is a amount, is a thing to understand. It's a certain amount of money which the current account holder withdraws from the bank, and he should pay it on a foreseeable future or on a time. So whenever we take a bank overdraft, what's the good thing for bank to give us money without like why they should give money for just free? The reason bank gives money, they get the interest when you get delayed in paying the bank overdraft. They charge interest day by day, and the moment you don't pay at all, your account will be freezed. Freeze means you can't do transaction. in future. Now I'm going to read the basic definition. You would have understood some sort of point about bank overdraft. Let's look into this area in a clear manner now. Yeah. Let's start, guys. I'm going to read this. There are situations where banks allow their customers to issue checks for more than the existing balance in their current accounts. The facility is known as the bank overdraft. This definition has been asked in many past papers. And why the examiner allows bank overdraft? Why? What is bank overdraft? How bank overdrafts work? All these type of questions I've seen in MCQs. Trust me, guys, this is a very important area you need to know when you guys are scoring in your O-level paper. If the business issues check exceeding the existing bank balance, the total of the credit side of the bank account of the business exceed the total of the debit side of the bank account. So when you take money out of the business more than the money you have, your money is in debit side, but your credit side is higher than the debit side. That's what they are saying. As a result, a credit balance appears in the bank account. This credit balance of the bank account is known as bank overdraft, which is considered as a liability of the business, because when you are taking some money more than the money which you should have in your bank account, then of course you become obliged duty, or you become a person who needs to pay the money in future one day as a liability. You have taken the money from the bank, so you need to pay it one day. Then it says that accordingly, when checks are issued in excess for existing bank balance, and when the bank makes payment on them, the account holder becomes a debtor to the bank, and that debit balance is known as the bank overdraft. So normally, when it comes to when you make a checks, like when you issue checks in future, when checks are issued in existing of the existing bank balance, and when the banks makes payment on them. So normally when you take the goods, take the checks, and you start using the bank overdraft values or current accounts values, this from the banker side, you are in debtor, you need to pay them one day. And for you, from your point of view, bank is a creditor's point of view. Then it says that that's how a bank overdraft is maintained. So here there's an example which I'm going to do and explain you how this example work. Now there might be actually this example is not that important. You might see there's a but I'll explain how this works actually. Then you will be having a good idea. I'm not going to do this example in the Excel sheet, but I'm gonna attempt another example, which is activity 2 in a while. Anyway, so let's have a look on this example. There was a favorable balance, debit balance in the bank account of Samadhi's business of rupees 12,000 as at 1st 7/2000. Following transaction took place during the month of July. What do you think? Shall I do this or not? We'll do it, guys. Okay. So then, yeah, we move on to the point. I'm going to take the bank account. I'm going to copy this, so easy for me. We already have the format, so I'm going to take another bank sheet. Yeah, I'm going to copy it. Let me take it to a new sheet. It's a bit slow, guys. I want you guys to be very patient when you're studying with me. Patience and persistence is the key to success. I didn't say that, someone said. So I thought it might be good to say until I draw my bank account. I'll paste it and I'll delete it. So now you see I have my bank account. I do so fast. I'm so quick in drawing bank accounts. And then we'll move on to the point we want to discuss. Actually, according to the sum, I'm going to go on and explain you how it works. Cash deposited in the bank. Now you must see there was a favorable balance, a debit balance in the bank account in Samadhi's of rupees 12,000. So you had an opening balance of 12,000. We already know how to record this under the bank account. I'm just showing you the bank account. Let me take these columns: date, details, and you have ledger folio, LF. You have amount, right? Then you have the same thing on the other side also. So I'm going to write here. Now I'm going to record the things opening balances. First of all, they said the first 7. So I'm going to take first 7. Yeah. July. So it's going to be 1st July. What's the balance I had in my bank? There was favorable balance, debit balance in the bank account of Samadhi's business of 12,000 as at 1st 7/2000. So 12,000 is the balance we had in the bank account. So I'm going to write this balance 12,000. Yeah, easy. So I wrote 12,000. After recording this 12,000, I'm going to write the details. It's going to be brought forward. Right, brought forward. So I have written brought forward. You don't want to write brought forward. You can just then they have given cash deposited in the bank, rupees 8,000. So they're asking to record the cash in the bank. So cash account will become credit, and bank account will become debit. So I'll write here 8,000. And I'll write the date 5th July. So it's cash. So I'm not drawing up a cash account, just showing how this bank account works, and I'm going to represent how this overdraft is going to actually work. Deposited checks 87 2000. Check had been received from cash sales 9000. So you've got a cash sales, so I'll better record it as sales. And remember to write the check number. What's the check number, guys? Check number is 20, and I'm going to write the date. So check number 20, and the date is 8 July. So here I'm going to write the date. Amount is 9000. So I could have put, again, as I said, I would have put to cash account and transfer it, but I can directly say it as sales account because it's a check. Then we move on to the next part of the sum. Check had been received for rent for income 7000. So 7000 was a check for rent income. You have received it. 15 July is the date, if I'm not mistaken, and it's rent income you have received. So it's better always write rent income and write the check number. It should be, I can't remember. Let me have a look on that. Check number is 114 and the amount is 7000. So 114 is the amount I'm going to write, and I'm going to write here 7000. Okay, so its value is 7000. So it's easy for me to take the values, guys. I have recorded here 7000. Now after recording the 7000 balance, now I need to move on to the next part of the sum. It says that check had been received from a debtor rupees 6000, check number 95. So I'm gonna yeah, it's a check related to debtor. So debtor has paid me an amount. Debtor, what's the check number? It's 90 something, right? 95 20th 7 6000. So 95 20th 7 6000. Okay, easy as that. So once after recording that adjustment, I'm not yet done. You have issued checks 12/7/2000 to pay the creditors rupees 16,000. So when you pay checks, so the money is going out of the business 12/7. I'm gonna write 12/7. You issued for creditors, if I'm not mistaken. Creditors 16,000, check number 33. So I'm gonna write creditors 33 16,000. Right, guys, whenever you are doing with me, do everything what I'm doing. I know a lot of accounting, right? I'm a chartered accountant, but why I'm still doing this basic thing? Because every basics will teach you something good in your future. So just believe it, guys. You know that that belief is always the key to success. To pay the salary to rupees 15,000, check number 34. So I'm going to take the salary, and I'm going to write the salary, check number 34. And what's the amount? 15,000. 15,000. Okay, 22/7. So I'm going to write the amount 15,000. I'm going to write the date, July 22nd. And then we have the last one, but not least. It says that to purchase rupees 25,000. Okay, so it has, okay, purchases 25,000. That's the check number. I forgot the check number. So let me check it again. So check number is 35 and 25th 7th. So 7th, 25th, 35, right? Of 25,000, the check number is 35. So I'm going to take 35 and close it. Now I'm going to take the total value in both sides. You might see the debit value. What is the debit value? 12,897, 42,000. You can write here 42,000. I got debit side as 42,000. This is the debit side, guys, I'm talking about. This side, if you calculate and see, you can see this here, 42,000. And 16 plus 15 plus 25 is 56,000. Which means this side, credit side, is higher than the debit side. So which means you should be very careful. Now you can see that credit side is high, which means you have issued checks more than the money in the bank account, which is not good for the business. Actually, this is where the overdraft happen. When you have an overdraft, how do you record this? That's what I'm going to teach you actually. So these three values here, you can see 56,000. Here also I'll record it as 56,000. Now you see here we got 42,000 actually this side. So the balance between the 56 and 42 is 14,000. That is the carried down balance of that month end. So I'll write 31st July. We need to take carried forward. How much? 14,000. Now you might have a doubt why brought forward and carried forward on the same side. Normally, if brought forward comes this side, carried forward should come this side. But why is the thing brought forward and carried forward is on the same particular line? One thing for your knowledge, guys, brought forward and carried forward is one particular line because there's an overdraft happening here. Overdraft is where you have exceeded in issuing amount of checks than the amount where you have received. So here you have received only 42,000, but here you have issued 56,000. So yeah, you now owe the bank 14,000. So I will record here 1st of August, for example. Yeah. So August 1st. What did I do? Yeah. August 1st. What's my amount I need to represent? It's brought forward, and it should be represented as 14,000. So that's how this sum should be ending for this bank overdraft. I hope you guys understood this bank overdraft. Let's move on to the sum adjustment. You might see here how they are represent the same thing. Balance 14,000. Why I did this to make you understand that balance bank overdraft is easy to understand, and let's do it. So I have explained everything related to bank account or bank overdraft, and I don't want you guys to read this entire thing. This is the same thing which I have already explained. As shown in the above example, the total of the credit side of the bank account is 56,000. Total of the debit side is 42,000. There's a deficit of 14,000. Deficit means there's a negative value. Actually, the debit in debit side and the credit side. As a result, the credit balance of rupees 14,000 appears in the bank account. This is the bank overdraft. This is a liability as the business has to pay it back to the bank. So actually, when the amount has exceeded than the amount you have expected, then of course you need to pay the money in future. Then let's start activity 2. Okay, so then here this is a very similar question which we have done already, but I'm going to record this, and they have they asked enter the transaction given below in the bank account. So they didn't ask you to prepare a different ledger account, so you save a lot of time. Indicate the bank order if he had issued a check on 25th for rupees 45,000 for the purchase of equipment. As you already now practiced a lot of sum with me, I'm going to directly go on to sum. It says that Viran carries out a business of sales of textiles. He can obtain a standing bank overdraft, which means he can take a overdraft of 100,000 maximum money from the bank, as he maintains his current account in an orderly manner for a long period. So now you should not get confused. What is this 100,000? Where should I record? Should I record it on the credit side or should I record it on the debit side? No need to worry, guys. You need to remember that this 100,000 is an amount which you can take from the bank one day. So then we move on to the next part. He had a bank balance of rupees 45,000 in his bank account as at first 2,000 X. So I'm going to move on to my sheet. I'm going to open up a bank account. So let me copy this and paste it. So it saves a lot of time for us when you have a bank account. I want to move on to the new sheet and yeah, record it. I'll zoom a bit so we have good vision on what I'm doing. So I'm going to erase this off and write here bank account. Right. So here you have date, details. Do with me, guys. Ledger folio, and you have amount. Same date, details, ledger folio, and amount. So how are we going to do the first one? Because they're asking the first one to enter the transaction purpose, right? So they're saying all the deposit checks were added and all the checks issued were deducted from the current account of the bank. Of course, when you have a bank account, whatever you are getting, you need to add. Whatever you are paying, you need to deduct. And enter the transaction given below in the above account and balances. First of all, we need to balance the accounts. I'm going to do it together with you guys one by one. Easy. It's a few adjustments which you're going to do. 45,000 is the bank balance he had on the opening day of the month in its month of May. So I'm going to start with 1st May. We had a balance of brought forward 45,000 on the debit side. You remember, I think, yeah. 1 second. Did I get 45,000 on the previous sum? No. Or before that? Yeah, we had a brought forward 45,000 on the first sum. That 45,000, maybe that's the 45,000 they are trying to take. So don't get confused. Just wanted to see the balance where I got this 45,000. So this 45,000 is the balance brought forward on the debit side of the bank balance. Now I'm going to do the next part. Following transactions were carried out through this account during the months of May. 2nd, 5th, 2,000, cash rupees 14,000. I'm going to record easily because there's no double entry here to record. It's just one account. I'm going to save my time. 14,000 cash account credit, bank account debit. So I'm going to write here 2nd, 5th, the date. Date is very important, guys. So done with that, then we move on next part of the adjustment. It says that 21st, 5th, 11/5 check deposited 15,000. So you got to check. They didn't say what type of check, which was the amount. Did they say anything related to that? No. So I can just consider it as cash, because you will take the check for your cash locker, and you will come and bring to the bank and put it. So that's how my assumption. So cash 15,000. What's my amount of as a date? So we have 11/5. I'm gonna write 11/5 then. Yeah. Then I have another cash check. Actually, what is the amount of check we have received? 16,000. So I'm going to record 16,000 on the debit side. Right. So what is the amount? Amount is going to be 21st. I mean, date is going to be 21st, 5th. So I'll write 5th, 21st. Then I have issues of checks. What's the amount I have issued? To Mr. Fernando, creditor, rupees 12,000. So 5th, 5th. So I'll record 5th, 5th. I'm recording on the ledger folio. Guys, I have recorded wrong. So let me take it to the amount column and delete it. So here I have 5th. I have paid a creditor. His name is Mr. Fernando. So it's better if I can write his name also in between, because they are not given the check number in this. So I'm going to take Mr. Fernando here, or Fernando. Anyway, guys, if you can understand, that's more than enough. So Fernando's value of check is actually 12,000. So I'll record 12,000 here. Done. Then we move on to the next part of the adjustment. It says that you have 13/5 to pay salary of rupees 20,000. So you have paid a salary of rupees 20,000, 13/5. So you have paid a salary 20,000. Then we move on to next part. Adjustment of the sum. It says that to pay rent rupees 10,000. So to pay rent rupees 10,000. I'll write here rent 10,000. What's the date? No much big deal. So I'm going to write the date. It's going to be 18/5, right? So 18/5. Recorded, done. Now have the next adjustment. It says that to purchase goods 34,000. So purchase 34,000. First of all, they are asked you to record everything and balance the sum. So purchases 34,000. If I'm not mistaken. 34,000. Yeah, and 22nd, 5th. Right. Now the sum, if I'm going to balance it, you can see a total here. So I'll zoom a bit out so you can have a complete look on what I'm doing. Here the debit side, I'm going to take the debit side, it's 90,000, and I'm going to see the credit side. It's lower, so it's not a bank overdraft. So I'll take the debit side balances here, 90,000 actually, and here also I'll take 90,000. Now the difference between this 90,000 and here the balance is how much? 76,000. You can see from my spotlight what is the value I have written. So 76,000. So 76,000 minus 90,000 will give me a value of 16,000. So it's carried forward, right? And I'll write the date 31st May. Easy as that. But now this is adjustment number 1. The examiner, the syllabus has requested you to do. I'm going to do the adjustment number 2. Now I record the first one easily. I'm going to do the second one. Please help me to do that, guys. Yeah. So I'm going to copy the same account, but here I'm going to have another one more adjustment on this sum, if I'm not mistaken. So I'll copy this out and I will paste it here. And I'm not going to erase anything. When you guys are also doing this, do the same way, guys. Do 2 times. Like once you do it, and second time also do it, and make this adjustment. Now I'm going to remove it off, and I have one more adjustment to do. According to the second part, they are asking me to indicate the bank overdraft if he had issued a check 25th for rupees 45,000 for the purchase of equipment. So on 25th, I'm doing another adjustment here, 25th, right? So I'm purchasing equipment worth of, let me take, worth of 45,000. So when I add this 45,000, actually the credit side will always go up, because earlier we had 76,000 on the credit side, only having a 14,000 gap. Now 45,000 is actually a great amount. It's 121,000. So this side is higher than the debit side. You might see. So debit side is 90,000. We already found out on the last sum. I can also show the total value here. So I'll take the same credit balance on the debit side, and I'll show you how debit side look like? You see, it's 90,000. So the difference between this 90,000 and 121,000 is 31,000, and that is the carried down or carried forward of the business. I'll write the date 31st, first, sorry, 31st. It's 31st. We say carried forward 31,000. So when I show the opening balance of the next month, it should be June 1st, and it should be brought forward. And the business owes, the business owes how much? 31,000 to the bank account. So I hope you guys understood what is this account actually. Activity 2 I have done right here. Activity 2. No, this is Roman number 2. So right, activity 2, activity 1, everything is done completely for your knowledge, and I hope you guys understood this video. In next video, I'll be teaching how bank reconciliation works actually from this page number. Yeah, it's a big chapter, so I can't finish it off in one video or two video. It will take at least 3 to 4 videos because I don't want to make it as a mess. I want to make things simple, so I'm trying to do my best. Please try to subscribe my channel and help me out. And also, please do not forget to inform your friends there's a channel called Commerce with Mac. It has everything to learn for entirely for O level, and it's just completely free. What you need to do is just subscribe, hit the bell button. Whenever I upload a new video, you'll be able to watch it free at cost. See you guys. Have a nice day, and thank you for watching my second video. Wait for the third upload soon as possible. Bye, guys.